Did you know that millions of people around the world are wasting the most precious years of their lives trying to please those who are never satisfied? Narcissists. This isn't some far-fetched theory. It's a harsh reality happening every single day, possibly even in your own life. If you're here, chances are you've experienced moments of self-doubt. What did I do wrong? Why did they suddenly turn their back on me? Am I no longer valuable to them? In this video, I'm going to give you clear answers with 7 specific signs that a narcissist is done with you. And more importantly, I'll show you how to turn their abandonment into an opportunity to reclaim your power and escape the mess they left behind. Let's face the truth. Right now, across America and beyond, thousands of people are trapped in toxic relationships without even realizing it. They wake up each day hoping that if they just try a little harder, if they compromise more, sacrifice a little more, stay quiet instead of speaking up, then maybe the other person will change, will appreciate them, will love them the way they deserve to be loved. But with a narcissist, that never happens. They don't care about your efforts. They care only about how much you serve their needs. And when they decide you're no longer useful, maybe because you started asking questions, started demanding respect, or simply because you're too exhausted, they don't just walk away. They leave only after doing everything they can to make you feel like a total failure, unlovable, invisible. Have you ever wondered if you're in that situation yourself? Maybe you've noticed subtle shifts. The way their sweetness turned into cold indifference. How they once begged for your attention but now treat you with apathy, or how they used to rely on you but now seek out someone else. These aren't coincidences. They're signs. And if you've ever laid awake at night blaming yourself for not being good enough, patient enough, perfect enough, this is your wake-up call. You are not the problem, they are. And I'm here to help you see that. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 undeniable signs that a narcissist has turned their back on you, not because you did something wrong, but because they can no longer control you like they used to. I'll break down each sign in detail with real-life examples you may recognize, so you can clearly see how they've been manipulating you. But I won't stop at exposing the problem. I'll also show you what narcissistic abuse really is. A system designed to make you feel weak, helpless, and dependent on them, but also a system you can break free from, rise above, and emerge stronger than ever, living a life no one else has the power to imprison. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. A call to face the truth and take action. So stay with me, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and get ready because you deserve to understand what's really happening in your life. You deserve to live without anyone trampling on your worth. We're not waiting another second. We're starting right now. Before we dive into the 7 signs, let's take a moment to uncover a core truth. A truth that might send chills down your spine but will also open your eyes. In the eyes of a narcissist, you are not a person. You're not someone they love for the beautiful things that make you you. Your smile, your kindness, your dreams. No, you're a supply, a living source of fuel to feed their empty, fragile ego. They don't love you for who you are, they love you for what you can give them. Admiration, submission, validation that they are the center of the universe. Imagine the soul of a narcissist as a black hole, a deep, dark void that can never be filled. Inside there is no true self-worth, no inner peace to rely on, no ability to love themselves without constant external reinforcement. They live in a constant state of emotional deficiency, a hunger that never ends. And that's where you come in, not as a partner, a friend, or a family member, but as a psychological provider of what psychologists call narcissistic supply. They need you to survive, to feel important, to fill a void they cannot face on their own. So what do they really want from you? They want your praise, even if it's hollow or forced. They want you to agree with their every opinion, preference, and decision, even if it means burying your own truth. They want you to abandon your friends, your family, and the people who genuinely care about you, so your world revolves only around them and the people they choose. They want you to become a version of yourself that they've carefully crafted. A perfect puppet, dancing to their tune, never stepping out of line. Think back to the last time they asked you to change. your tone, your thoughts, your lifestyle, just to make them happy. That's not love, that's exploitation. But what happens when you start asking questions, when you stop bowing down, when you dare to say no, when the supply they depend on you begins to run dry? They can't handle it. They don't walk away quietly. They don't let go gracefully like normal people would. No. They leave with calculated cruelty, designed to punish you, protect their image, and leave you feeling like a worthless wreck. They don't just move on. They want you to believe that you are nothing without them. But don't worry, I won't leave you lost in that darkness. I'm going to walk you through 7 unmistakable signs, as clear as daylight, so you can recognize when they've truly let go, and more importantly, when it's time for you to rise. This is your moment to pull back the curtain on their twisted play, scene by scene, and realize you are not the loser. You are the survivor. Sign 1. They constantly accuse you. The first sign is like a flood, not of water, but of relentless accusations crashing down on you like violent waves. One day, out of nowhere, they turn to you with a cold, piercing glare and unleash a barrage of verbal attacks. You're a liar. You're fake. You're the reason everything in my life is falling apart. These words hit like knives, cutting deep into your self-worth and leaving you lying awake at night wondering, am I really that bad? Am I the villain in this story? But take a moment, pause, and look deeper. This is not the truth about you. This is their blame game. Inside them is a chaotic mess of emotions they refuse to confront: insecurity, fear of abandonment, a gnawing sense of inadequacy. But they can't admit to any of it because doing so would shatter their illusion of perfection. So instead they project it all onto you, like an artist painting their inner fears onto a blank canvas. And you become that canvas. Think about a specific moment. Maybe you forgot to reply to a message because you were swamped with work. Suddenly they turn it into a full-blown war, calling you irresponsible, selfish, and unworthy of their love. Or maybe you voiced a different opinion, and instantly you became the traitor, the enemy who dared to challenge them. These accusations aren't real. They're the bricks they use to build a wall to protect their fragile ego. When they start this flood of accusations, it's a clear sign they're done with you. You're no longer the obedient source of supply they once relied on. You've become a threat, someone who dares to question their control. But don't let their words define you. Those accusations are not a reflection of who you are. They're the weight they're too afraid to carry themselves. You are stronger than their narrative, and you don't have to prove that to them. Sign 2. They provoke you into arguments. The next sign is a dangerous game, a battle you never asked to play, but one they force you into. They throw the bait, a subtle insult hidden behind a smile, a sarcastic comment that gets under your skin, or a deliberate act of provocation that's impossible to ignore. And then they wait, like a predator stalking its prey, for you to react. When you finally explode, even if it's just to defend yourself, they come back with a smug look and say, "See? You're so dramatic. You always make everything a mess. No one can stand you." Suddenly, you become the problem, the one who destroys the peace they pretend to maintain. But take a closer look. Who's really holding the knife in this performance? This is classic gaslighting, a term you've probably heard 100 times, but let me make it crystal clear. Gaslighting is when they manipulate you into doubting your own reality, into thinking you're the problem, that your emotions are too much, that your reactions are the issue, not their behavior that pushed you to your breaking point. Think about a moment when they twisted your words in an argument. Maybe you simply said you needed some space, and they turned it into, "You hate me. You're abandoning me." Then they kept pushing, pressing every emotional button they could find, until you finally lost your composure and snapped. And there they stood, coldly smiling. "I knew it. You're the one who causes all the drama. But what's the truth here? You weren't the one starting the fight. They were the director of the show. You were just the actor forced onto their stage. When they begin to provoke you like this, it's another sign they're done with you. They no longer want a cooperative source of supply, they want to punish you for daring to have your own voice. But don't fall into their trap. You don't need to prove your worth in their rigged arena. Step off the stage they've built. You deserve peace, not war. Sign 3. They blame you for the relationship falling apart. The relationship begins to crack, tiny fractures that slowly spread into deep, irreparable fault lines. And when everything finally collapses, they're quick to cast you as the destroyer. "I tried everything," they say with a tone of sorrowful regret. "But you're just too hard to love. You never knew how to make me happy. You're the reason this fell apart." They rewrite history like a skilled screenwriter, erasing all the times they controlled you, manipulated you, wounded you, and painting you as the sole cause of this painful ending. But take a step back and look at the full picture. Who's really been holding the pen in this story? They need you to be the villain in order to preserve their image of perfection, to their friends, their family, even to themselves. After all their lies, they'll still say you couldn't trust them. After all the times they dismissed your emotions, they'll claim you were cold and incapable of love. They spin this tale as if they were the noble hero betrayed, and you the heartless villain without a conscience. Think back to a moment. It could have been one of those times you spent hours apologizing, trying to fix an argument they started. Yet they still looked at you with contempt, saying, "If you were better, we wouldn't be here right now." But what's the truth? You didn't destroy anything. You were simply trying to survive a relationship that was designed to suffocate you, to mold you into a distorted version of yourself. They blame you, not because you were wrong, but because you stopped letting them exploit you. When they start placing that burden on your shoulders, it's another clear sign they're done with you. But don't carry that pain with you. You are not the cause. You were caught in their storm. Let them keep their fake narrative. You have every right to rewrite your own story. Sign 4. They play the victim. Now they step into the spotlight in their favorite role of all, the poor, wounded victim. "You ruined my life," they cry, maybe even with tears streaming down their face for dramatic effect. "Everything would have been so much better if it weren't for you. You have no idea what I've been through." They tell this story to anyone willing to listen, mutual friends, co-workers, even strangers on social media, conveniently forgetting that they were the one who stirred up the chaos in the first place. But this isn't vulnerability, it's a weapon. The victim's stance is their most powerful tool, a way to gain sympathy from others and punish you for daring to stop being their supply. They'll tell friends that you were cold, heartless, that you abandoned them, while conveniently leaving out how they cut you off first. The ignored messages, the days of silent treatment, the cruel words that made you shrink inside. They turn you into a monster in everyone else's eyes, so they never have to face the truth, that they were the one who created the mess. Think about a time this happened to you. Maybe after an argument, they ran to someone else and cried, "I tried so hard, but they just didn't care about me." How did it feel when those words came back to you? Did you feel betrayed, misunderstood, painted as the villain with no chance to defend yourself? But don't carry the weight they're trying to force onto your shoulders. You are not the monster. You were simply trapped in their performance, trying to find a way out of a script you never agreed to. When they start playing the victim, it's another clear sign they're done with you. They don't want you as a source of supply anymore. They want you as the enemy, so they can continue basking in the fake glow of pity and attention. But you don't have to stay in that shadow. Step out of it. You don't owe them anything. Sign 5. They treat you like you're worthless. One day, the entire tone shifts. They used to praise you, beg for your love and attention, swear that you were the most important person in their life. But now, when you no longer serve their ego, they look at you with cold disdain. "You're nothing special. You're not as valuable as I thought. I made a mistake choosing you." They begin to tear you down, reducing you from someone they once idolized to someone invisible, like everything you ever did for them meant nothing. The late nights comforting them, the quiet sacrifices you made, the patience you gave, all dismissed, all discarded like they were worthless. This is a classic sour grapes tactic. When they can't have what they want anymore, they convince themselves it was never worth having in the first place. But think about it. If you were truly useless, why did they spend months, maybe even years, draining you for every ounce of energy, love, and support you had to give? They saw your value. They needed your admiration, your loyalty, your patience. It was all fuel for their ego. But once you stopped supplying it, they erased you from their narrative, like you never mattered at all. Remember a moment like this. Maybe they once told you, "You're the only one who really understands me," but now they mock you in front of others. "I don't even know what I ever saw in them." That kind of dismissal cuts deep, I know. It makes you feel small, invisible. But here's the truth. Your worth doesn't depend on their opinion. You are enough, always have been, not because they said so, but because you are you. When they start treating you like you're worthless, it's another sign they're done with you. They no longer need you to prop up their ego. But that doesn't mean you don't matter. Rise from the ashes they left behind. You don't need their validation to shine. Sign 6. Their rage explodes. Their irritation starts to boil over like a fire that can no longer be contained, and you become the direct target. Maybe it's explosive outbursts, screaming in your face with a fury so intense it makes you tremble, their words hitting like bullets straight to your heart. Or maybe it's a cold, hateful silence, sharp sarcasm that slices through your self-worth. Or heavy, punishing days of silence that leave you feeling like you're being punished, but you don't even know what for. Either way, one thing becomes clear. They're no longer hiding their contempt for you. Rage is their way of punishing you for daring to step out of the role they assigned you. You draw a boundary, maybe something as simple as saying, "I need some time for myself," and they respond with a week-long tantrum, treating you like a sworn enemy. You stop submitting, you stop bending to their every unreasonable demand, and they explode, not because you're wrong, but because you're taking back control of your life. Think back to a moment this happened. Maybe you tried to bring up a small concern, just to talk, but they turned it into an all-out war, throwing things, yelling or storming out, and leaving you in crushing silence. How did it make you feel? Afraid? Guilty? Like you were the one who triggered it, like you were the problem? But don't fear that fire. It's not a sign you're weak. It's a sign you're reclaiming your freedom. They're raging because they no longer hold power over you. When they can't control their anger anymore, it's a clear sign they're done with you. They want to see you shrink, apologize, and fall back into your old role, but you don't have to. Walk through that fire. You are stronger than they ever imagined, and you deserve peace. Sign 7. They start looking for someone new. Finally, they turn their back on you and begin the hunt for something new, a fresh supply to exploit, to admire them, to fill the bottomless void inside their soul. And they don't do it quietly. They make sure you know about it. "This new person is 1,000 times better than you," they say, a smug smile stretched across their face. "They're kind, they're amazing, they do everything you never could." They put the new person on a pedestal while stomping you into the ground like you were nothing but a failure. This is their never-ending cycle. Use, discard, repeat. You weren't the first, and you won't be the last. They might brag about their new amazing coworker right in front of you, or post vague status updates on social media just to make sure you see that you've been replaced. They want you to feel small, they want you to feel jealous, they want you to beg them to come back. But that's not their victory, it's their failure. They can't function without a supply, and now that you no longer serve that purpose, they're desperate to find someone else to keep their illusion going. Think back to a moment. Maybe they started spending time with someone new, telling you how wonderful that person is, comparing you in the most brutal way. How did it make you feel? Betrayed, abandoned. But here's the truth. You were never just a supply to be used and thrown away. You are a human being, worthy of love, worthy of respect, not a tool in their twisted narrative. When they start looking for someone new, that's the final sign. They're done with you. But instead of feeling pain, let yourself feel relief. They may have walked away, but you haven't lost anything. You're reclaiming yourself. Now that you've seen the 7 signs, from constant accusations, emotional provocation, explosive rage, to the hunt for someone new, let's take a deeper look at the reason behind all of this. Narcissists are not simply evil villains in a fairy tale. They are storms that never stop, sweeping away everything in their path. Inside them is a chaos they cannot control, a hollowness they don't dare to face, a fear that without someone propping them up they will vanish into nothingness. It wasn't you who caused the turbulence, it's their nature, with or without you in their life. They live in an endless, repeating cycle. You're not the first to be blamed, devalued, discarded, and you won't be the last. Imagine them as addicts, always searching for the next dose to feel alive. They need someone to make them feel grand, to admire them, to validate that they are the center of the universe. But that's an impossible mission. No one can fill that black hole, not you, not the next person, not anyone. Happiness doesn't come from manipulating others, but from within, something they don't understand and likely never will. When they're done with you, it's not a loss. It's a victory. You no longer have to live inside their cage, no longer have to dance to their tune, no longer have to sacrifice yourself just to please them. They want you to believe that you're small, that you're not good enough, that you need them to feel worthy. But look in the mirror and say this to yourself: you are stronger than they could ever imagine. You survived their control, their toxic words, their psychological games designed to suffocate you. You don't need them to shine. You already have everything you need within you. Think about the journey you've been on, the nights you cried alone, the times you blamed yourself, the moments you felt like you weren't enough. But you're still here. You're still standing. You're still seeking truth. That is real strength. Not the kind they tried to steal, but the kind they could never reach. When they leave, they don't take your value with them, they only leave behind space for you to grow. Let's take a moment to recap the journey we've just walked together. They accused you to hide their own insecurity, they provoked you to maintain control, they blamed you to rewrite the story in their favor, they played the victim to punish you, they treated you as worthless to protect their fragile ego, they exploded in rage because you dared to be free, and they search for someone new because they are never satisfied. But all of it, every word, every action, is simply a reflection of their weakness, not yours. You are not their victim, you are a survivor, and now it's time to grow, to step out of the shadows they try to keep you in and to reclaim the light you lost in their storm. Let this moment be your new beginning, a place where you choose dignity over submission, respect over manipulation, peace over chaos. You don't have to live by their script anymore. You are the author of your own story, and this is your time to start writing the most beautiful chapters yet. If this video touched your heart, if it helped you see the light in the darkness, please hit like so I know you're here with me. Share it with someone who feels stuck. You might be the ray of hope they need to rise again. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue walking this healing journey together. They may be done with you, but your life, your real, meaningful, free and joyful life is just beginning. Take a deep breath, lift your head, and take that next step. I believe in you. You've already come this far, and you're capable of so much more. Let's begin.